everybody, Backyard Bullion here. Hope everybody's alright in these crazy times that we're living through. And these crazy times have certainly fueled a lot of really interesting questions, one of which is now a good time to look to sell some of your physical silver? I know that might seem a little strange for a lot of you out there who are thinking, but silver prices have come down. Why would you want to sell? Well, the premiums on physical silver. If you have physical silver and you are able to sell it and ship it out to people, the premiums are high and it's in demand. I've seen countless ounces of silver sold on eBay and on Silver Forum, the various other forums that are out there, Facebook, Instagram, you name it, there are physical ounces of silver being sold at quite high premiums and profits. And that is a really, really good market if you are in the situation where you need to sell some silver right now. Going to a dealer right now is hard, it's not really practical, it's going to cost you money, I think, in the long run. So today's video is going to talk a lot about selling silver, how and where you might want to think about selling silver, some of the implications that might come into your decision making for that, and ultimately why selling to a dealer is probably the worst option that you have right now, and how that impacts us going forward as stackers and our strategies, why a lot of people don't rely on dealers and how you might mitigate that in the future for your stacks. So lots of things to think about today. I want to put my usual caveat in to say that I am not a financial advisor. This is just a simple collection of my thoughts and opinions on the subject. So any financial decisions you make are yours and yours alone, having watched today's video. So dealers, let's just start there. So a lot of people will have bullion dealers as their kind of go-to exit strategy for a lot of the metals they have. Now, that's a little bit more practical for those of us, or let's say those of us, those of you who are based in the USA, because there are a lot more dealers, relatively local coin stores and silver bullion sort of exchange shops are a lot more common. Here in the UK, they are few and far between, if at all, and you often have to rely on online dealers. And in the UK as well, silver is really not seen as that kind of go-to metal. So a lot of these big dealers will pay pittance for the silver. Even now in America, you'll see a lot of the dealers, they'll probably bite your hand off to buy it, but they will not give you a great price for it. So selling your silver on the second-hand market is one of the key ways that you might be able to release a lot of the premiums and physical premiums out of the silver that you hold to get that money. Now, whether or not you need the cash now to survive, perhaps you've fallen victim to some of the situation that's creeping on this world, right? I say creeping on this world, it's here, that's affecting this world right now, and you are in need of funds, you need to sell some of that silver. I have seen a lot of people really, really worried about their exit strategies because they were relying on dealers. And with this whole situation, and this is, there's so many topics to talk about at the moment with everything that's going on. Perhaps this is a topic for another time. Relying on dealers in the brown stuff hitting the fan scenario is not necessarily the right way to go. You are going to be gouged on prices. They have all the power. They have all the money that they want to spend. They are not there as a public service. They're not there to do you a favor. So selling this stuff to other individuals is probably the only other option. And in fact, I would argue it's the better option. It does come, however, with a lot of pitfalls, which I want to cover here today. So what I want to start by saying is that if you haven't considered selling silver, just generic silver, whether it be fingerprinted, scratched up, horrible pieces like you see on the table here, or premium items, if you've not ever considered selling those on the private second-hand market, it is well worth doing so, even if you don't need to right now, because one of the most important things in that market is seller reputation. Now, a lot of that can be mitigated to a certain degree on eBay. If you have an eBay profile, of course, buyers have a lot more protection from sort of, PayPal, various things like that. But at the end of the day, still, if there's a brand new seller on eBay with zero feedback, there's going to be a lot of very wary buyers out there that perhaps won't be looking to buy your silver. So having a seller profile, having a online presence that you can have an outlet to sell your silver is actually really, really valuable. And if you have not considered selling silver that way or having that as a potential option, then perhaps even just dipping your toe into the market might be a really good way to do it. If you've got an excess of silver ounces right now, you've got to start somewhere. I appreciate that it can be really hard to start somewhere, but even if you're selling things at, $1 profit per ounce or something, just get that started, get that portfolio, sales portfolio going, because it will come back and pay you back in time. I have no doubt it will. There are a lot of benefits to being a reputable seller on various different forums, not even just eBay, we're talking about all the other places. So that's definitely something to think about. Now, at the moment, one of the issues around selling your silver on the second-hand market is going to be around, well, there's moral issues. Let's start with the moral issues. So selling a lot of silver on the likes of eBay, for example, I've seen some huge premiums on eBay. So we're talking like in the UK, 25, 26, 30 pounds an ounce even for Britannias, for just generic Britannias. So there is a moral implication here that perhaps one is taking advantage of people out there in this world who are looking now to get silver. They've perhaps only just heard about this, or it's come on their radar and they're looking to get it and they are wanting to get it. Now, for me personally, there is plenty of business case argument to be had to start selling silver on eBay. Personally, I want to hold on to my silver for a lot longer because I think there's more value to be had out of it in the long term. But arguably, you could sell and have a big profit. But there is, for big reputable sellers out there, there is this kind of, you know, it goes for dealers too, the price gouging, the profiteering side of things, which is really very important to take heed of. If you are seen as a profiteer, if you're seen as a price gouger, that is going to harm your reputation. So be careful is what I guess I want to say from that side of things. Consider the reputation that you might lose by selling lots of things, taking advantage specifically of people. Be an ethical seller is, I guess, what I'm trying to say. And that is really important. Now, the other things are around, one of the reasons why dealers are not even shipping their silver right now is around insurance. If you are going to be selling on the second-hand market, it is an awful lot more risky than just taking all of your silver in to a dealer and selling it to them. So you really need to be careful on how that goes. You have to look at the different shipping options that are out there at the moment for your country, whether they're insured. For example, here in the United Kingdom, we are not able to have special delivery insurance on precious metals anymore for non-signature. If somebody does not sign for it, if it's left on the doorstep by the Royal Mail, someone pinches it, for example, that is not going to be insured. That is not covered by the Royal Mail because of the situation that's happening in the world right now. People are not signing at the doorstep. They're not handing over the little handheld devices to do the signatures. So lots of issues to look at in terms of the physical selling of silver. That leads to your own personal risk level, how much risk you want to take in that sort of selling of the silver. There are a lot of people who are happy to do that. If you're selling in quite significant bulk, ultimately there's going to be a lot of very good people out there. There might be one or two bad eggs, but it will probably rear its head, certainly now, because there's an awful lot more, I don't want to say scammers, but there's a lot of people out there who are going to chance it. And that's one of the reasons why dealers do not want to ship out their silver and gold right now. So definitely things to think about there. In terms of releasing that premium, it is probably the single best way to get as much money as possible for your silver. So if you are looking at selling a lot of silver because you either have to or you think it's a good idea to do so right now, then have a good strong think about the second-hand market before you run off to your local bullion dealer. It really irks me that bullion dealers do seem to take advantage of people, and it's one of those bugbears where you understand it from the business perspective. Of course, they want to buy low, sell high, but as a lot of people pointed out in my video the other week about the profiteering side of things, if a bullion dealer is going to simply buy your silver at £12 an ounce, $12 or $15 an ounce, whatever the price is in dollars, and then immediately sell it on for $30 an ounce, £30 an ounce, or whatever, that's pure greed and profiteering. I don't agree with that. If bullion dealers are selling brand new pieces of bullion that they're having to buy from mints, and the mints are kind of gouging on the prices, then I don't have so much problem with that. So that's the one thing that I think the markets are really often swayed against the individual. The bullion dealers hold all the power, and that's something that's really hard and horrible to see. So what do we learn from this? How does this affect things going forward? I think I will make a full-on follow-up video about sort of the dealer side of things in terms of whether or not we should rely on dealers in a brown stuff hit the fan scenario, because they are not always there and to be relied on, especially when, if things really go to pot, if the shipping services, the Royal Mail or if the US Postal Service goes down or doesn't want to work anymore, then that's going to be a big issue. So Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section on today's video. I think it's a really interesting topic and one which I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions on. If you're just going to be an obtuse troll, then please don't bother to comment. But otherwise, if you are respectful of mine and other people's opinions, we'll see you down there for a good fun debate. Otherwise, put a thumbs up on this video if you enjoyed it, and make sure to hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed for future content. And if you want to get a notification when these videos go live, then hit the alarm bell. Otherwise, that's it from me today. Thank you one and all for watching. I want to finish my video with my usual shout out to all healthcare and key workers out there in this world. Thank you for all your efforts in helping keeping us healthy and safe. Take care, and we'll see you on the next one. Please make sure that you like, share, comment and subscribe for more.